Hi, Pastor Nathan Decker with your Better Together devotion for today, and I'm continuing our journey and our discussion this week and talking about stewardship and giving our gifts to God. And one of the things that, as a pastor, I'll be honest with you, is kind of a lesson I learned at some point in my life, and I've taken really to heart, but a lesson that I've struggled continually to teach the church, is that God asks for our first fruits, not our leftovers. And that was a really hard thing to understand because churches, a lot of times we seem to think that we live in a world of limited resources, and we seem to think that we as the church are called to live in a mindset of scarcity. In that there must not be enough, and because there's not enough, we will parcel out what's needed and what we have to do, and then whatever's left over, that's what we'll give to God. No, that's not at all what the scriptures tell us. From the beginning in the book of Exodus, Moses is instructed to tell the children of Israel that they're called to give the first part. All the way back in Genesis, when Cain and Abel are having their kind of little tiff, they give of their first fruits. They bring the first that they have. And the idea there is that by getting our relationship right with God, it will make all the other relationships make sense. It'll make our relationship with other things make sense. And I believe that's a true thing. When we have our priorities set in the right order, it makes everything else seem to make more sense. So what do I mean by that when it comes to our giving? Well, when I was a teenager at a church, I remember real well that we wanted to get a TV. We wanted to get a TV so that we could use a VCR, and I know some of you may not know what a VCR is, but we wanted to get a VCR so we could kind of play something similar to DVDs. Some of you may not know what those are. We wanted to play something that was recorded. And so we wanted a TV because we were going to get a VCR and we were going to watch tapes and watch what was happening. And I remember one of the older guys said, well, how much money is it going to cost? How much is this going to cost? See, he was immediately thinking through the mindset of scarcity and budget. The church only has so much, therefore the youth group can only get so much. And so we told him, I think at the time it was maybe $500, I don't remember. But the idea there was we were going to get a brand new TV for $500. Well, he said, well, I've got a TV. I don't watch it anymore. It's up in my attic. It's probably bigger than the one you're even thinking about using. Why don't I just bring that and give it to the youth group for free? And that'll be good. That'll be done. And so he did. He brought the TV, and we looked at it, and wouldn't you know that the hookups on this old ancient TV that was considerably heavy and tube-oriented and large, looked like a piece of furniture, didn't have the hookups to a VCR even. It was an old TV. You see, a lot of times, though, that is the mindset of the church. That is our mindset when we come to give gifts to God, is that we want to give God what's left over rather than giving God our first, our best, our first fruits, our best gifts. So when it comes to our finances, we think of things in this manner. We think, take care of me first, take care of mine first. And because of my broken need, I just get more and more gluttonous, and my need grows and grows and grows until there's nothing left for anyone else. Instead, what I should be using is a mindset of abundance that says that God will give me everything I need. Jesus promised that God would take care of us. He said, even the lilies of the field have clothing finer than King Solomon. Do the birds of the air worry about where they're going to get food tomorrow? No. An idea and a mindset of abundance. And so the first thing we should do is we should sit down in prayer and have the conversation with God and say, God, I want to give you my first fruits, my best. And set aside whatever we feel our relationship with God has led us to believe that we should give of ourselves financially. And then, from that point on, then every other relationship, our relationship with, say, our car payment, our relationship with our house payment, our relationship with everything else starts making sense. And tomorrow I'm going to talk a lot more about those relationships. But we start looking at those relationships different because of our relationship with God. our first fruits, our priorities. We have to set things the way that God asks us to do so, not because it's the rule, but because it cures us of the gluttonous, consumption-oriented, and scarcity mindset that God did not give us, and that is definitely not kingdom thinking. This is Pastor Nathan Decker challenging you to think differently about stewardship and to start having conversations with God about your first fruits. We're better when we're together.